Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English News Team. For tonight headlines. We have Prime Minister visit additional 13 beds resuscitation site at Bufar Hospital. For the international scene, the death toll in Brazil is over 15,000. Welcome to our newsroom. Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed this morning visited the additional 13-bed resuscitation site in the company of the Ministers of Health Mohammed Warsama Diriye. This is an equipped structures that will allow the care of COVID-19 patients in hospital to be supplemented in case of need. Located at Bufar Hospital, this new additional resuscitation site with about 13 spare beds will help to relieve congestion in the hospital's resuscitation department. It should be noted that for the time being, the current resuscitation facilities in our hospitals are more than sufficient to handle the cases of serious patients with COVID-19. Prime Minister welcomed this foresight initiative, which means from the recommendations of the scientific commissioners to prepare for any eventuality in the effective management of COVID-19 pandemic in Djibouti. The Minister of Health, Mohammed Warsama Diriye, chaired an important meeting with the Crisis Committee of COVID Response Strategy. The meeting was attended by the Minister of Health, Mohammed Warsama Diriye, the Secretary General, Dr. Saleh Benoita Turab, and senior officials from the Department of Health were present to provide an update on the management of COVID-19 pandemic. Indeed, the Crisis Committee reviewed all the actions implemented in the management, prevention of, and communication for fight against COVID-19. Minister of Health Mohammed Warsama Diriye expressed his satisfaction with the positive impact of this proactive strategy against COVID-19. The minister also welcomed the new directions aimed at strengthening the strategy of systematically targeting the elderly people. Listen to the report.
Voilà donc aujourd'hui, plus de 2 mois et demi, après les premiers cas à Djibouti réunis pour faire un nouveau point de situation.
Here we are today, more than 2.5 months after the first cases in Djibouti, gathered together to take stock of the evolution of the epidemic in Djibouti and to reflect on the strategic orientations that have been set in motion. The aim is to review our response mechanism in terms of prevention, screening, and care. It is important to note that significant increase in the number of people who have been screened, with 10% of the population of Djibouti, a city that has been tested, reaching nearly 45,000 inhabitants in the coming days. The government of the Republic of Djibouti, under the leadership of the head of state, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, has made considerable efforts over the past month in terms of human, financial, and material resources, and has crystallized multi-sectoral energies to ensure the success of our national plan to combat COVID-19 disease. Our ultimate goal is to mitigate the spread of the epidemic among the population. We are committed to providing quality care and support to those affected. The government has been commended internationally for its frank and swift action in the face of the goodwill of friends, and we must continue to adapt our strategy to the evolution of the epidemic in our country. It is for this reason that we must consider the following points collectively. Then I will set out to provide new directions for our response to COVID-19.
The Secretary General of the Minister of Health, Dr. Saleh Benoita Turab, has made a daily press briefing. Listen to this report.
Point de presse sur la situation de COVID-19 ce lundi 22 juin.
This Monday, June 22, 2020, the Health Secretary General, Dr. Saleh Benoita Turab, gave the daily press briefing as usual on the situation of COVID-19. The tests performed on COVID-19 indicates 93 cases cured, 279 tests were performed, 17 cases positive for COVID-19 was found, and 3 new deaths. With regard to daily indicators, the epidemiological curve of COVID-19 continues its downward path with the rate of new contaminations still decreasing. However, it will be necessary to preserve in this dynamic of promoting barrier measures in order to contain the spread of the virus until the total elimination of its circulation within the community. Given their vulnerability, The protection of the elderly or people with certain comorbidities must be strictly observed. Always continue to call the toll-free number 1517, which is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The overall assessment can be summarized as follows. 44,883 tests has been achieved, of which 4,599 COVID-19 positive cases have been detected. 3,952 cases are confirmed cured. 84 deaths in total. Stay vigilant, protect yourself and others.
The President of National Assembly, Mohammed Ali Mohammed, received the Ambassador of the Federal Republic of Somalia, Dr. Mohammed Ali Nur Hagi, on his way to his country under the terms of his accreditation. The ambassador paid a farewell visit and thanked the Republic of Djibouti and the authorities for the excellent relations maintained during his missions. He also appreciated the cooperation, friendship, and rapprochement prevailing between the two countries, marked by the visits and travels of the respective parliamentary delegation. The President of the National Assembly, Mohammed Ali Mohammed, thanked his diplomatic interlocutor for having amplified dialogue, collaborations, and exchanges between the two countries. The President of the Assembly furthermore considered indispensable the continuations of bilateral cooperation in favor of peace, mutual understanding, solidarity, and sustainable development, with emphasis on the actions of the legislative institution. The network distribution manager of the Djibouti National Water and Sanitation Office, ONIAD, Zakaria Said Adar, visited the files, particularly in the municipality of Balbala, to obtain information of the state of water in this area. The inhabitants of the Warabli and 8 meters district said they were proud of the works carried out by the National Water and Sanitation Office, ONIAD, which has enabled them to have water regularly and with fewer interruptions in recent months. Indeed, this day was an opportunity for ONIAD in charge of distribution of this precious liquid and the management of wastewater to highlight the progress made in these files, and especially in this sector where the water shortage has seriously affected some inhabitants and families in this sector. ONIAD has set itself as the goal of combating the severe water shortage in the Republic of Djibouti, and the results are clearly visible. To their families can enjoy this precious liquid in their homes. The network manager Zakaria Said Abar tell us more. Listen to this report.
De la demande due au confinement et à l'été.
Despite the increase in demand due to the confinement in summer and the increase in housing in new subdivisions such as the 540 Burwago and the 2 phases, 1 and 2 foundations, we have managed to meet the water needs of people everywhere in the national territory, and especially in the cities of Ali Sibeh and Arta. And to cope with the influx of holiday makers and demand, there are near quarantines in Balbala too. All are supplied according to a precise schedule. Thanks to the increase in water production from the boreholes. We are in operation in Ethiopia. We are able to proceed with this increase in anticipation of a high demand due to the heat, the confinement, the use of pumps on the network of the equitable distribution of water. We will not let the resellers, the managers of the illegal fountains, put pressure on the poorest to get rich on their backs. Similarly, spoilers and others who illegally manipulate to deprive others of resources. ONED will make sure that the resource is sufficient and there will be more for the next month.
The prefect of Ali Sabi hosted last Friday a consultation about the tranquility of their city. This meeting brought together from all social categories to discuss the reasons for the disturbance to public order that took place last June 5 in Askar city. The debate between the patriotic sons and daughters of the regions followed an improvised illegal demonstration that resulted in looting, breakage of some public buildings of the local administration, and vandalism. Headquarters of the BCE Red Sea Bank. More specifically, it brought together the Minister of Health, Mohammed Warsama Diriye, and head of city, the Vice President of the Assembly, Elmi Oussi Wais, the Dean of the region's parliamentary traditional chief, activist women from the civil society, and cross-sections of many young people representing all the residential areas of the city. At the center of the minute discussions debate at length was the slogan "Never Again in My City." Following the event that took place in Addis Ababa on Friday, June 5, a delegation of the National Human Rights Commission visited the Asajo capital on Sunday, June 21, to conduct investigations. The delegation was composed of the chairman of the National, Mr. Taliban Omar Udin, the Commissioner Rapporteurs Muhammad Farah Khairdon, and the Secretary General Jibril Usman Hufane. They meet alternately with Prefect Ali Sabih, the Vice President of the Regional Council, the elders, the women, and the Chief of Police Commanders and Gendarmerie companies, the General Directors of Ali Sabih Regional Hospital. Finally, delegations visit the BC agency and the offices, the ONIAD, to observe the material damage caused by this event. Djibouti financial sector has undergone a profound transformations over the past 50 years, encouraged by Djibouti's strategic position, stability, and major reforms. Investors will be flocking to the country from 2006 onwards. The opening of banks will follow one after another, for the benefit of the national economy. On the occasions of Djibouti's 43th anniversary, we are back tonight with a broad review of development in the financial sector in our country. Here is a reportage commented by Dini Musa.
March 20, 1949. The French government creates a local currency to promote the economic development of the French coast territory of the Somalis. The Djibouti franc is born. Its value for $1 is then fixed at 214.392 Djiboutian francs. In 1971 and 1973, the franc was revalued against the United States dollar, first at a rate of 197.466 to the dollar, then 177.721, a rate that has been maintained ever since. It is on this basis that the banks of the place will work. Djibouti had only 2 banks until 2006, with more than 70% of its economy based on services. Djibouti will launch a wide-ranging reform program with the aim of attracting the largest amount of foreign direct investment. This will result in the attraction of capital, particularly with the establishment of new banks in Djibouti. As a result, the weight of bank ownership will rise from 7% in 2007 to nearly 30% today. Between 2006 and 2014 alone, the total amount of bank loans will triple to reach 116 billion francs. Today, this figure is rising sharply. According to Ahmed Usman, governor of the Central Bank of Djibouti, over the past 15 years, the transformation of the Djiboutian financial landscape has been such that it has boosted the national economy. According to the governor, if the number of banks increases, all the aggregates increase accordingly in relation to the evolution of our economy, which over the same period increased significantly. So over the last 10 years, they have the figures that reflect this growth, the money supply, credit to the economy, and so on. They have gone from 40 billion to 150 billion in credits to the economy. Through the figures, we can complete this evolution of the Djiboutian economy, and the banking sector in particular, he said. This evolution has accelerated since 2006 and is truly the result of an in-depth work that took place in the years before. You know that Djibouti is a very young nation. We have the independence, hired to a financial sector that was very small, where the central bank was in its infancy and only dealt with the issuance of a monetary base. We had to consolidate this base, establish a statistical basis, and give the central bank all the means to monitor developments, reflect on the function of the central bank, the economic perspective to truly establish the development of a financial center in Djibouti, said the governor. For a long time, monopolized by conventional banks, and this well before independence, the banking sector will break with this practice from 2006 with the integration of Islamic finance and the creation of a national committee of Sharia to promote this banking system. The aim is to satisfy customers who are concerned about providing services that conform to Islam, but also to diversify and contribute to Djibouti's ambitions to become a regional commercial and financial hub for the promotion and development of Islamic finance on the African continent. Djibouti has organized several conferences in this regard, an opportunity for hundreds of international experts and other professionals to exchange views on the opportunities for Africa to develop Islamic finance. At the national level, Islamic banks already hold more than 20% of the market and their growth remains very significant. We have supported them with promotion of the financial center, particularly financial products, since their creation in 2006, 2007, and 2008. The market penetration rate was very significant during the first years with a very high growth rate, explained the governor of the Central Bank of Djibouti, Mr. Ahmed Usman. Islamic finance has experienced exceptional growth in the country in recent years. The commitment of the Republic of Djibouti to the development of Islamic finance at the national level and at the level of the continent will thus be recognized and rewarded. It is in this sense that the President of the Republic will be distinguished in Astana, Kazakhstan, by the Global Islamic Finance Award in 2017.
Within the framework of a pre-rev project, the Minister of Women and Family organized on Wednesday, 17 and 18 June 2020 at the Center for Social Actions and Empowerment of Women, CASAF, training sessions for women, fish immersion of the concept of conservation and the processing of fisheries products, as fishing is a sector that promotes the fight against poverty and food insecurity. Women fish vendors are also part of the supplies and marketing chain of fishery products. This training will enable the beneficiary to better knowledge of fish, who master the importance of fish quality and how to evaluate it, recognize the main causes of fish deterioration and how to prevent it from spoiling. Now the importance of ice and refrigeration methods, control contamination, to master good hygienic practice, to master the technique of processing fisheries products. This training session will continue in the coastal region, namely Arta, Tajara, and Oboh. The Djibouti National Red Crescent Society, in partnership with UNICEF, has launched an awareness campaign on the importance of biodigestions to combat the coronavirus epidemic in the region of Tajara. The primary objective of this campaign is to remind the population that the beginning of a significant decrease in coronavirus cases in our country should not be a source of relaxation in our fight against coronavirus. Indeed, this decrease should be one more factors to redouble our effort in maintaining healthy behavior, such as regular hand washing, wearing masks in public places, and social distancing. This awareness campaign, which Djibouti Red Crescent Society volunteers are carrying out in the various districts of the capital, has also been launched in the 5 regions of the country, with the aim of reaching as many people as possible in the community. The Djibouti Red Crescent is carried out this campaign in collaboration with UNICEF, which is an important partner for the national society. Indeed, during the day of 21 June, the gendarmes of Damerjog Brigade intercept a vehicle of a brand Land Cruiser 2 in Shebele. During the searches carried out in this vehicle, 72 parcels were discovered, each containing 13 pockets of smuggled cat, totaling 360 kilo. The gendarmes also found the drivers of a vehicle and his passengers trying to transport the illegal goods to the capital. They were taken into the custody. All the goods seized, 2,800 bundles of cat, were destroyed by fire in the presence of customs officials. As for the vehicles used to transport the illegal goods, it was immobilized at Damerjog Brigade. The notice of missing minors child, the elements of the Central Police Department have brought back a lost of a little girl that you see on the screens from the name of a son age 4-year-old. This child was found in the vicinity of the District 2 by the police elements of the 1st District on 20 June. In the district, she is unable to pronounce the name of her parents who are looking for this girl, or people who recognize these girls you see on the screen are kindly requested to contact the police officers at the central police stations where the girls is currently. Please contact 21 35 27 61 or 21 35 39 66 on the contact the numbers of 77 88 22 or 02. For the international scene, Brazil, the second country in the world most bereaved by COVID-19 behind the United States, has passed the threshold of 50,000 deaths and 1 million confirmed cases. Listen to Dini Musa.
The second country in the world most bereaved by COVID-19 behind the United States has passed the threshold of 50,000 deaths and 1 million confirmed cases, with the megacities of Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro being the most severely affected. COVID-19 caused 641 more deaths in 24 hours in the country, bringing the total death toll to 15,617, the Ministry of Health said Sunday, June 21. Since the start of the pandemic, far-right President Jair Bolsonaro has repeatedly downplayed the seriousness of this health crisis, describing the coronavirus as a small flu, and accused state governments of artificially increasing the epidemic's toll for political purposes. Elsewhere in Latin America, the epicenter of the pandemic and whose southern part entered the winter on Sunday, the death toll in recent days has exceeded 20,000 in Mexico and 1,000 in Argentina and 8,000 in Peru.
This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us.